What's up YouTube? ODST General back again with some more EmergeNYC content. Now today we have a gameplay video or pre-alpha video that's been released. This got released a day or two ago, but I haven't had the opportunity to actually come in and record this. So I want to kind of go through it and talk about some of the stuff we see in here. Now bear in mind, like I've got paused on the screen right now, this is pre-alpha. There's bugs in here, things are getting tweaked, and they've probably already changed just since the couple days that this video was released. I mean, that's the nature of game development. I mean, you know, look at the Battlefield 1 beta and you'll see it. There's things in there that's months old. You know, this might not be months old, but I can guarantee this will change before the release. So let's go ahead and get into it here. I did turn down the volume because, as you guys have probably found from my past EmergeNYC videos, the game can get pretty loud. So let's go ahead and unpause it. Got the Flip Switch logo. This is also off of Flip Switch's YouTube channel, by the way. Make sure to check them out, guys, if you want to see the full video uninterrupted, unpaused. So the first thing we see is the in-game menu here. So we've got volume controls, graphical settings, keyboards, bindings, and stuff. So let's actually go back really quick here. See if I can get back to that first one. So you've got the option for frames per second, which from what I can tell isn't actually working properly right now. This is pretty basic, but I do like how clean it looks. It looks pretty professional. Obviously there's stuff that needs to be added. I'm not sure what these are supposed to be here on the right hand side. Alright, so we're getting the page out. You can see in the lower left hand corner you've got a mini map. It shows the emergency on there, as well as your character and which direction you're looking. Now, what's not made clear is, right now this is getting pulled up. Is this an option that you'll have on the fly, or is that something he's seen because he's gone up to this computer? You are now able to see, you know, a little bit better where this fire is, what kind of situation is. By clicking on that, you can see it's third floor residential. Now, I will say this. I do wish that instead of having to click on things on the map to see what they are, you would just see it. So if you had a fire, it would say, you know, fire, you know, third floor residential right away, and then instead if you click it, it hides that. So we've got a firefighter model here. He's a little bit on the older side. Pretty decent model, but I don't know. Bear in mind, some of the stuff that we are seeing with these models and stuff are likely placeholders too. Some of these are more than likely going to get replaced at another time. So let's go ahead and take a look. So he comes over here, no buttons on this, as you can see, but I'm presuming that he's supposed to be interacting with something on that panel that opens the doors. Opening the doors automatically triggers the engine's lights. Now this is where I start having issues with this pre-alpha tech demo video, is that you don't get to see everything. So I'm presuming there's features missing, and that's why he cuts, because there's supposed to be, you know, animations for getting in the truck. I suspect that he probably just teleports into the truck. I'm also imagining that probably AI firefighters don't work properly on foot. So this is pretty cool right here. I want to go back just a tad bit. Now watch the right hand side. Now you can see the flags waving, but actually look right here. This is, you know, if you're a firefighter, you know what this is for, but this is for basically taking all the exhaust so when you're in the bay, you don't suffocate while the engine's running. So this actually moves with the engine, and then it just kind of pops right off. I mean, that's pretty awesome, and that looks like it's ragdoll physics. You can see that both the engines are driving at the same time, so you've got an AI driver in the engine, and then you've got the player driving. I can't remember which one this is. I think it's engine 89 that he's in right now, or 32, that says right on the top. You can see AI traffic is driving around. They're all doing their own thing. So there is a pretty wide variety of vehicles, but like I said, I expect that most of these are placeholders. So you can see vehicles actually do pull over. They've already said this is something that they're kind of working on tweaking. This is basically the initial iteration. So if you look, this guy came pretty close to hitting that parked SUV, but he is still pulling over. You'll also note that like this car looks a bit jittery and he's like pulling all the way onto the sidewalk, which obviously no real person would do. Bus is actually stopped at the bus stop. Hopefully there is actually something working here. Hopefully this isn't just a decoration. It probably is, but it would be kind of cool to actually have kind of a working transit system just for that immersion factor. That thing I'm always talking about, the immersion. Having, you know, working taxis that are stopping to pick people up, or at least look like they're stopping to pick people up, or buses that are stopping at bus stops would be very cool. So we're arriving on scene. You can see you've got a marker right up here showing that, you know, you're close proximity to the fire. We've also got like a little HUD compass type of deal here. This shows that the emergency is off to your right. We're facing south, so pretty basic. Not something I actually expected to see in something like this, and it's actually kind of a nice addition. Because when you're playing multiplayer, you're going to want to be able to say, okay, the south-facing wall or whatever, you know. Depending on how much you know about fire attack, it's gonna help, you know, people coordinate their efforts in multiplayer. Is ultimately what it comes down to. See this this tow truck right here. I'm pretty sure that's the same tow truck from the Manhattan mod. I could be mistaken. So once again, we're gonna cut, but as you can see, the fire looks really awesome. We don't get to see him exit the vehicle or anything set up. I don't know what the ringing is. I don't know if the ringing's basically him saying he's on scene. Now, you can see he does pull this up again. That could be because he's accessing it from inside the fire truck. It could be triggered because he's on scene. We don't know. This isn't really explained, which is where I get kind of a little bit frustrated with this. You can see the responding units, though, so you can see the ladder truck's actually all the way back up here, which also kind of raises a little bit of concern because obviously the AI fire truck is having a much more difficult time trying to navigate traffic. Now, bear in mind, it's also a larger truck, too. He's in the engine. He's in an aerial ladder truck, so
75 net box 1268.
You can see him pulling up in the background. So the scene is switched here, and this is kind of why I have an issue with this, because this sets up a really cool looking scene. You've got firefighters sitting here, you've got guys up on the fire escape, you know, up here, you've got a ladder set up here. Now the thing is a lot of this hasn't been talked about in any official manner. You know, ideas have been tossed around by you know, the developers and fans, and the developers have said, you know, we'll look into it, or yeah, that sounds like a cool idea, we'll go ahead and throw that in if we can. But here you're looking, can we set up extension ladders? Can these guys actually climb this ladder as it stands right now? You know, it looks like they're set up that way, so it looks like they're actually interacting with it. But will a player be able to actually climb up here and climb up this fire escape and then enter into the building? You know, how are these people getting into the building? Are they entering in through the windows? You know, you can see there's an attack line actually hooked up, so it's hooked up through the back of the engine, goes in through to the bottom of the building. So presumably there is actually somebody in there with a hose, from what I can gather. You can see the ladder is somewhat working here. You know, obviously these are all features in the current tech demo that we have. You can see the engine here is hooked up to a hydrant. But yeah, like I was saying, this is all stuff we've seen in the tech demo. We can also see that there is another couple of guys responding here. This is also maybe potentially an issue for some people. When the map's pulled up, this is now here. That's a little bit throwing you off, you know, because obviously this is showing the third floor fire that he's currently at, but it looks like it's on the map. Hopefully that shouldn't throw too many people off, but you never know. So smoke's coming out the windows. So it might be kind of hard to tell. I'm going to try to slow it down if I can. But just watch these windows right here. You can see right here a little bit what appears to be, you know, a hose, you know, water being sprayed. You can't actually see the hose, but it looks like water is being sprayed out the window. So it does appear that there is at least some form of you know, water extinguishment in the game now. If it actually extinguishes the fire or not yet, we don't know, because we don't get to see that in this video either, which is, once again, my gripe is we don't get to see a lot of the important features. It sets up a pretty scene, but you don't get to see a whole lot. We can tell that it is coming from inside the building, though. I mean, it's getting sprayed out, and it's coming from inside. I mean, the attack line, like I said, does go inside, so I mean, we don't know if that's actually because this is hooked up or not, or if that's just, you know, dev cheats. It's a little low res, but that's actually the quality it was recorded at, too. This is only recorded at, like, 480p. So you can see you've got people walking around. You've actually got a crowd that gathers here, kind of like EM4, which is good. I mean, that's the immersion thing I'm talking about right here, is you get crowds that are gathering, watching the fire. That happens in real life. I mean, I've seen that myself. You know, you've got... you know, people over here, though, they're just walking around doing their own business. Now, one thing I do notice is that a lot of the streets didn't seem to have people, so I'm wondering if they're generated around emergencies, or the devs placed them, because if you look, there's no people on this part of the street. They're all over here on this sidewalk, some over here. Admittedly, I didn't go back. We should probably go back and look at that real quick. How far are we? We're at 420 right now. A little too far back, maybe. Yeah, you can see there's no people walking here, so it does appear that they were placed there. So, there is one thing we do get to see, is you can actually see this firefighter's moving up in the hose, or in the bucket. And that right there, that's also throwing me off. That's a pass device. So does this mean a firefighter got injured? Is it from, you know, a player firefighter standing still for too long? Will that actually be something in the game that if you sit still for too long, the pass will go off like it's designed to in real life? Because that's the thing, a pass device goes off after, like, I think, was it like 30 seconds of, like, no movement whatsoever. That's why if you see firefighters in real life, you see them kind of wiggling their butts and stuff back and forth, is because most of the pass devices, depending on your tank and stuff, is located at the bottom of the tank. I mean, you know, it's more than likely a firefighter was injured in the mod instead, but you never really know. Further setup here of just making the scene look really pretty on the parts of the devs. I mean, it's really cool looking. Don't get me wrong. I got really hyped up when I first saw this. But now I'm trying to come back and I'm trying to dissect it. And I'm sounding a lot more pessimistic than I wanted to or than I intended to, because I am still pretty psyched about this. I understand that this is all in development and that a lot of the functions and stuff that I'm kind of complaining about seeing probably are still in development, but at the same time, you know, it does take away from showing what the game really is, because it's saying here's us being at an emergency, but this is really just a nicer looking version of Emergency 4 as it stands right now, with some control of the player and some better menus and stuff. But I do notice too that these, like the laundromats and this pizza place, do actually seem to have working interiors. Now, most buildings don't, but these ones do, so I'm wondering if these could be potential call-outs, or if they're just trying to get that kind of level of detail that, you know, nearby call-outs you'll have buildings that can be entered. Of course, then again, that could just be painted on, you know, or textures onto the door. It's kind of hard to tell. whether or not those can actually be entered, because I guess it does look a little bit flat. I'd have to see the camera move to be able to tell. So let's talk about this. Coming late November 2016, it's pre-alpha. So late November, so a couple more months here, players will have access to all of this. Everything you saw in here, presumably in its complete form, where you'll be able to get in and out of trucks and all that stuff. So right now, if you purchase early access and receive access to the driving tech demo at the end of September, so at the end of this month, we will receive the driving demo. So you'll actually be able to drive around inside the city. If I remember correctly, they basically said that even though all the buildings are in here, you can see the buildings are completed and textured. The city is going to be white box just to test performance. I mean, that's a lot of their thing, is they're trying to test performance out, get feedback from a variety of players. And then you get additional features from the interactive demo if you have the deluxe version, as you guys have seen. Right now, that basically means, I think, ladder control, and I think high-rise control comes off of that as well. Anyways, guys, that's everything. Let me know what you guys think of this demo. Does it get you hyped up? Does it give you concerns that you didn't get to see a lot of the functions that are essential to this gameplay? Or, you know, what do you guys want to know about it? Let me know. I'd love to hear from you guys, and I will see you in the next video.